Roommate wakes me up to call me a massive f***ing cow because I ate my food. I've been living with my roommate for a couple of months and it has been going swimmingly. I'm okay sharing my food with my roommate, but I don't touch the food she buys because I have binge eating disorder and I honestly prefer to never touch her food. It's just my personal preference to not open that door to allow myself to eat it during a heavy binge. I draw a hard line there. Recently I bought some avocados and tortilla chips, so during a binge I ended up eating all my avocados and chips. My roommate wanted to take an avocado to work. She is an essential worker. She hates the food they serve in her restaurant. She didn't ask me, or anything, since we have the unspoken agreement she can help herself to my food. She wanted to take some of the chips too. Today in the morning she was packing her lunch for work, and she realized there were no avocados or chips left. So she woke me up mad that I had eaten them all. Now she doesn't have anything to take to work, and that I'm a massive F***king cow for eating everything. I am so selfish, etc. I am super sensitive about my weight, because even if I am at a healthy weight, I bust my ass out exercising to counteract the horrible binges I am going to therapy to improve my relationship with food, though I still get bad impulsive binges. I wanted to cry right then and there due to her comment, but I took none of her BS, and I started screaming at her saying that I am never letting her touch my food again, if she's going to act so entitled to the stuff I pay for that never. In the 5 months I've been living with her, have I eaten food she had bought without her offering me at first? That she can eat shit for all I care. She got teary and said that she can't afford similar foods that I can and how much she hates the unhealthy food her work offers. So she wanted to take a nice burrito bowl, and that now she has a cheesy bean salad. BTW, she did this with mostly my food. The only thing she bought was the cheese. She also pointed out that I was a spoiled asshole who doesn't need to go out and expose themselves to the virus and still get paid loads. I am a junior accountant in a big company. I do get better pay than her. She left, and I got a text later from a mutual friend saying that roommate is struggling with money and that I shouldn't eat all the food, especially when it's so much, and that I should think about my health. My roommate expects an apology from me for eating everything, forcing her to eat the food at her work, which she gets for free, and for yelling at her. I wanted to be vindictive and eat a bowl of her cereal and throw the rest in the trash, but I am not about that life. After receiving plenty of comments from a lot of people in the original post in AITA, that my roommate may have told our mutual friend a completely different story from the truth, I decided to ask her what was said, to be able to defend myself, and to be sure my side, and the truth was heard. She told me that roommate told her that the food was bought by the both of us, that I promised her the avocado and chips for her lunch today, that she just came to calmly ask me if I had seen them, and that I confessed to her I had eaten them all to spite her, that I yelled at her to eat shit. I did tell her that, and that I mocked her for being poor. After telling her my side of events, she realized roommate's tell of events had a lot of holes, and mine made more sense. I explained to her she called me names, woke me up to yell at me, and the only food she owned in the burrito bowl she was taking to work was the cheese. She apologized profusely and texted roommate telling her how disgusted she was with her actions. Even though I was originally planning on letting her apologize and allowing her to continue to let her have my stuff again, Reddit knocked some sense into my doormat self and told me to revoke her access to my food. I was planning on having a conversation when she would get back from work with her about clear boundaries that will be set in place from now on, and how her food will go in the mini fridge that came with the apartment, while the fridge I'm borrowing from my abuelita is going to be locked in the pantry with my food. She decided to go spend the night at her boyfriend's place since I'm hostile and put mutual friend against her. Her boyfriend has also texted me and knows that the food is 100% mine, so he is on my side. I decided to talk to the guys in the legal department at work to know what I can do to protect myself in the worst-case scenario I must evict her. After reading the post and updates, my roommate sent me 30-plus text asking for forgiveness, saying she doesn't want to be evicted, which, like I said, is my worst-case scenario, and that we should talk. It's a day later, and she's still to return, and now she has reverted her stance, texted me angrily saying I'm ruining her relationship, have Reddit against her, poisoned her friendship with mutual friends, and that she feels like I'm trying to forcibly lead her to starvation and homelessness. When in fact yesterday I spent some of my night making a nice budgeting plan so she would stop bleeding money, so she can actually buy decent groceries and even start thinking about saving in the near future. This is the first time something like this has ever happened, and after crying my eyes out multiple times yesterday and part of today, I'm at a complete loss. I thought me and roommate were good friends. Story 2. My son and I experienced a CB in the wild. So, no pictures. Although, in hindsight, it would have added to the story so you could get a full view of what I had to witness. So I'm in a pretty big grocery store, and they're notorious for never having enough lines open. Not Walmart, although, good guess. And my son and I get behind this woman in a motorized cart. She's got a basket that filled to the brim, and she's slowly taking out one item at a time, very slowly, and grunting like she's having trouble. I tell my 8-year-old son to ask her if she could use his help to empty her basket, trying to teach him to help others. She agreed, and he quickly got everything out, but not before she told him exactly where on the belt to organize everything. While he's doing this, she cleans out her purse full of garbage and receipts, doesn't even turn to look me in the face, but hands it back to me saying, "Would you find a place to throw this away?" I tell her no, and that once she gets closer to the cashier, they have trash cans behind their counter. She wads it all up and then slams it back in her purse. After my son is finished, she was kind enough to offer my son a candy bar for his work. I told her no, it's okay. He can do that kind of stuff without being given something. She tells him to pick something anyway, and I then allow it. She gets up to the cashier and they know her by name. And there's even a woman on standby helping to bag her groceries according to the woman's demands. When she goes to pay, she says the exact amount on her card is $21.36. There isn't enough money on her food card for all the items she had packed into her cart. I feel bad for her, but not that much after her numerous bossy fits she's now had toward the cashiers. She has them backed up for over 20 minutes while she says, "Oh, I thought I had enough. I thought I had enough." While she rocks back and forth like a crazy for added affect. All the other lanes were about 10 people deep with full carts, and my stuff was now already on this belt. That's why I didn't move. Suddenly she stops her act and turns and asks my son, "Do you live in this town?" He answers yes. Cue her waving her hand to fan herself and loudly saying how it's so hot and she's got to wait for the bus, and she asks me, "You wouldn't mind taking me home?" I sternly informed her that no, that will not be happening. She then tries to say she didn't know she was short on money, and if my son can return the candy bar. At that, the other cashier went to the next register, got her scanning gun, and proceeded to scan my items from the other belt. I ask while paying at the other register, I'm willing to give $20 toward her groceries to help, but only if this isn't something she does often. The cashier gives me that look like, "Please don't," and says this is her 3rd time in that week and that people buy her groceries all the time. She's definitely not short on food. I thank the cashier, bag my own items, and my son, his candy bar, and I all leave from that hot mess. On the way out, the lady who couldn't get out of her cart to get her own groceries out is now standing telling the cashiers how I'm rude and inconsiderate. Great learning time for my son, since I told him helping someone is okay. You're not obligated to keep helping them if they're just using people.